Hey guys, here we go again with another snow day. So you're going to see a couple videos, probably 3 from me. This one's going to be really short, so when you're done with this one, you'll be able to do the section 2.2 homework in my math lab. That's a really short one, just get it done out of the way. And then I'm going to make a couple more videos for section 2.3, which is on mean, median, and mode, which is probably something you'll be able to follow the video fine because it's stuff that you've seen before in the past. So just make sure you're going onto Blackboard, seeing what I post. I might even post the quiz as a take-home. I haven't decided yet then, but just keep checking back for me so that we don't get too far behind. Okay, so this is from the last page on the handouts that we worked in both classes. You had a packet that we were doing frequency tables and histograms and ogives, and the last page is what I have here on the screen. Okay, so this I'm just going to briefly, this is what we're going to do at the very beginning of class, is to briefly go over these other types of graphs that you see. Okay, you don't have to really form these kinds of graphs often, but in my math lab when you're doing the homework, they'll ask you to choose the one that's appropriate or be able to read it. So this first graph that we have here, okay, you've seen this before in the past, I'm sure, is a pie chart. Okay, so we wouldn't use a pie chart to really do what we were doing in class the other day. Okay, the other day we were graphing quantitative data. Okay, so this is really for showing qualitative data. Okay, so you look in that, you can tell where the most of the data falls. You can see little trends in there. Okay, so this one is for favorites for Little Debbie. Okay, so that's qualitative data because the data is actually their favorite kind of Little Debbie cake. Okay, and the next one we have right here, you may or may not have seen some of these in the past. Okay, so this is called a stem and leaf plot. So pretty much for a stem and leaf plot, what you need to be able to do is take one and understand what the data is coming from it. Okay, so this one is student heart rates after doing 1 minute of jumping jacks. So the key thing for this, well, first you see what we have right here. These are our stems. Okay, that's the beginning of the number. And then the leaf is like the last digit. Okay, so these are heart rates. Okay, but if you look down here, this is a really important part, this key. Without it, I don't actually know what these numbers are. I don't know if 6.1 is 61 or 6.1 or 6.01. It really could be any combination with those digits. So the key tells me down here that 6/1 is a 61. So I know right here, my data coming from this, I'm not going to list them all, but I know that, okay, some student had a heart rate of 61. Another one, 7 doesn't have anything, so there's no heart rates that were in the 70s. Another student had an 84. Another student had an 86, an 88, and so on. There was a 92, and 3 99s. Okay, so we can see where the most of the data falls. We see that there's no data there, there's no data there, okay? And if you kind of look at this, it's what if I turned it on its side, this is what the histogram would look like, you know, with a really small tail for the 6 and the 15, and then it builds up. You can see that this right here, the ones that are in the 120s, those are the ones that have the majority of the data right there. That would be if I was drawing a histogram, that would be the highest bar. So you can see what it looks like from a stem and leaf plot. Okay, so this is really just a way to organize data. You still do have to put every piece of data on here. Okay. So then our next one, I think for you. Okay, let's move this up. Okay, so the next one's similar to a stem and leaf plot, but this is called a dot plot. And if you look at it, I always think these are exactly like a histogram. It's just made with dots. Okay, so the difference between this and a stem and leaf plot, this is used, well, this one's for a patient satisfaction score. So it's really used when you have a lot of things repeated. So the idea on this is if I counted the dots, all of these dots right here should all add up to n, okay? Because each dot represents one piece of data. So if I were looking at this, it would mean my data would look like this. It would mean 2 people had a patient satisfaction score of 1. So it would be like 1, 1. And then the next one I would have 2, 2, 2, 2. And then I have all those 3s. So that would be the actual data. Okay, then I'd have all those 3s and so on. All the 4s. They look like they have the equal amount of 4s. And then I'd have 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So it's really used when you've got a lot of repetition in your data. There's only 5 possible different values here. I probably wouldn't use a dot plot if I had 50 different values, because on my horizontal axis, I'd have to have 50 different things and then dots to correspond. But it's very nice if I only have a limited number of options for outcomes anyway, and then I do a dot to represent how many times it happens. Okay, and if you look at that, picture this as being a histogram, and you can tell that that's close to a bell-shaped. The right tail is a little bit higher than the left tail, so it's not perfect, but you can see exactly how the data is distributed by looking at a dot plot. And then our last one right here, this one we don't use very much, but I'll just wanted to mention it. This one's called a Pareto chart. Okay, and this also graphs qualitative data. Okay, so you can see on this one, the actual data is the reason for getting a slow page load. Okay, these are all my reasons right here. So that's qualitative. So it's like someone asks you, why is your page slow to load? You give out the reason. So about just under 20 people said they received an error page. About 10 people said that their browser load, I can't read that word because it's so small. But those are our reasons. Okay, so see, we could also put this on a pie chart. But this one's a Pareto chart, and it shows the qualitative data, and it always shows it in descending order. A Pareto chart always does that, so it labels it so that whatever was the highest frequency, it goes first, like right here, then the second one goes here, and then it goes like that. So it's always in descending order, so the last one is always the reason or whatever it is that has the lowest number of frequencies. So those are just 4 other kinds of charts that you see in section 2.2. So like I said, that homework is going to be really quick and easy. I think it's probably under 10 questions just reading some of these different kinds of charts and tables. And then you're going to check back in a little bit. The 2.3 video will take me just a little bit to make and to upload, and I got to get these kids off to school, so it's a quiet house, and then I'll do that in a little bit. Okay, so keep checking back. Have a good day.